Hello everyone, this is Diane. I am back working on, let me show you, this journal. I did a video. I'm doing the videos back to back, but one will be played the day after the other, or 2 days after, depending on if I have something that goes in between. So where I left off, I had some things that I needed to sew. So I did that. So let me just show you what I did to backtrack and finish up some of these things. I just sewed across that. I sewed this pocket on and this tab. And I wanted a tab here, and I sewed on this gorgeous piece of boho. Isn't that beautiful for fall? And I sewed this piece of wide lace on. And then this. Instead of looking for the little autumn fabric scrap, I had this on my table, and I thought it was perfect to just put that on top. And I added those little bits and sewed this card on. And that's what we've gotten done on this signature, on this journal so far. It is a one signature journal. So now the next thing is this vintage apple crate label. And it is quite fragile, but I'm sewing it into the book. And what I did with this one was I reinforced the center with one of the digital scraps that I had torn off one of the pages. And this was, you might be able to see there's a little tear here. So I reinforced the top with some more scraps and a butterfly cigarette card. And this wasn't torn up here, but I just reinforced it anyway. So we're just going to do some embellishing on this piece. First of all, let's reinforce the center. I saved strips that I tore off of some of the pages, and I'd like to use one of the colorful digitals. And rather than try to tear this, because it is so narrow, I'm just going to cut it. Now, when I folded this, I could tell that it was going to need to be reinforced. It didn't exactly crack, but the ink on the apples is cracked a little bit. But once I put this on it and then folded it, then it definitely showed signs of cracking because it's wrapping around a thicker piece. But it'll be alright, even if it cracks all the way open. This is what is holding the book in, or the page into the journal. So I'm going to glue that on. And I'll use some more of those scraps for some of the embellishing. One thing I didn't do, I don't think, did I? Oh yeah, I did. Pull out a piece of lace for the top. I do have one. And I'm just going to reinforce with a plain piece of coffee dyed paper. Just a little strip right at the top. And I have this chrysanthemum cigarette card. I hope you watched the first part of the video. If you didn't, That was a day or two ago. And I said that I was inspired for these journals by Cassie, Dust to Roses. And I will leave a link to the video that I saw of hers. Hers is a garden journal, so she was doing hers in the spring or summer. So mine doesn't look much like hers, but I was definitely inspired by some of the ways that she decorates. And I don't want to sew on this very fragile paper, so I'm just using glue for all of the bits. Just a crumpled piece of lace. Maybe I should put a little bit of wallpaper on the top of that, since it's just sitting here on my desk. Got some Anaglypta lying there too. I'm not even going to ink it, I'm just going to glue it down. And I have this embellishment from Eclectic Eggplant. I already inked around the edges. So I did do some prep work for this video. Not much, but first page or two. Okay, that's all I'm doing to this. I'm leaving the front just as it is, but I have to carefully fold it because I am folding this new piece of paper that I added. You have to be careful when you do that, especially if you're using a thin and fragile piece of paper, because it'll want to fold over this and it might tear. So that's something to watch for when you're reinforcing a fragile paper like that. But there is that page. And I started on this because I knew I would have to sew, so I already went ahead and did that. And this lace is wide enough that it could be a little tuck spot if you wanted it to be. And I inked around the edges, but I'm going to cover the rest of the white. So this was an idea from Cassie. She used music sheet, piano roll paper to cover one side, and I don't remember what she used on the other side. It was ledger paper or something like that. But on this book, I used the piano roll, which happened to be white, so I inked it. And then I used this, which is a vintage German flyleaf from a book. And someone sent that to me, and I believe they coffee dyed it, because I think that these markings are from coffee dye, but it is from a vintage book. And I really liked the way that looked. So I glued that on there, and there is room to write in between those lines of text if you wanted to. For this one, I'm going to use this page from an old children's book. So you could collage over those words or add a piece of paper that you could write on, a journaling card or something. I like this edge the way it is, so I'm going to leave that. And it's kids on a farm, and they're talking about apples. Do the sheep like apples? I didn't read the whole thing, but thought that could apply to this autumn themed journal. Maybe I need to tear a little more. I don't really want these loose bits hanging that far off the edge. They'll get knocked off. This fragile paper tears easily. This has not been aged at all. I mean, it has been, but it's natural. That is all natural aging. This was such a wonderful old book. It was very decrepit. The cover was falling off, and it was pretty bad. I wasn't able to use the cover, but I wanted the pages, and I cut some up that were really in bad shape, and I saved some whole pages. They're just pretty awesome pages. So, okay, I'm going to glue this down. And I'm wondering what to put at the bottom here. Guess I'll just put that scrap on there. Now, my piano roll paper, I have a piece that I cut off the roll. So I think what I did on the first one was I just put glue all over my page and then laid the piano roll paper on it and then tore off the excess. Put it as close to the edge as I can. This isn't really what this fine nozzle is for. I want to make sure I get a lot of those little slits in the paper. And it's sheer enough you can see some of that green paper that's underneath there. Now I will have to ink this. I do have some of the normal craft color piano roll, but I grabbed this one, so this is what I'm using. And this can be written on, but it looks different. It's got the the inking brings out the lines of glue. Maybe it wouldn't have done that if I had let it dry. Okay, so that's fun. And I added some cellophane and took something out of this bag just to put on here. It says new consonant, G. I'll put those back in there later. I'm using fragile paper on top of digital paper for this. And some old cellophane. This is wide and it's already folded. It was wrapped around a piece of sheet music, so I'm going to wrap it around the edge of this, which is what I did on this one. This one looks more yellow, and I love that yellow look. I had commented on something I purchased recently that had old tape on it. Said if I can get that off, I'll keep it, and someone wanted to know what I would use it for. And now you're seeing one of the things I would use it for, just adding some interest to a page. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this. Just another digital that I tore. Just adding all these fun little scraps and bits makes the journaling process fun, the creating process fun, and I think it adds a lot of interest to the pages. Things that you wouldn't expect, maybe. And I'll let that dry before I fold it. But, on the back, I know I did something on the back. Oh, I put some tickets on as a little bit of a belly band, so I've got to grab some tickets. Here we go. I had to look for some that were double. Sorry for my creaky door. It's very annoying. I am not going to trim that to fit. I'm just going to let a little bit of it hang off the edge there. I don't know what Vincent's was, but these are tickets for Vincent's in Berwick, Pennsylvania. That won't fit. I don't know what this is. Ideal Gauge tuck that in there. I might add something later, but that's there for now. And that takes care of that page. Let's see what's next. Oh, this is a fun page. So this is an old German receipt that someone sent me, and it's yellow. And then this is a vintage Yahtzee game score sheet for Challenge Yahtzee. Oh, I already did that part. Good. I don't have to do that. So I glued it. What I did was I put it up against the cover and then just kind of spread them, put one to the top and one to the bottom, and that's where they could go. And then I glued them together like that, and that created some pockets. I tucked in a piece of vintage ephemera, and this I'll have to ink, but it's digital. And I didn't do anything to the inside, but on the outside I did a little bit of embellishing. We had this little vintage Victorian scrap piece, but I don't have any more. I do have a piece. I'm going to look for it, see if I can find it. I don't know if I have the original, but I have the digital, and that is a Victorian piece that was a hand holding some fall-looking flowers and stuff. And I keep seeing, here it is, look at that, it's holding leaves. This is the digital version of it. I thought I saw the original version here too, but I may not have. Because I have the original, or I used to, and I don't know if I still have it. But anyway, I'll use this piece. I think that digital is in my shop. Victorian ephemera. And then I just took some wallpaper scraps and put them at the top. So I have this little package, or large package of, I want to put the pin in my glue. These are the scraps and bits of wallpaper. So I'm just going to look for some small pieces. I like the kind, for this kind of stuff, I like the kind that is the old, more fragile stuff, not the vinyl stuff that I can tear. I just like the way they look in little collages. Isn't that pretty? I'm just looking for something that catches my eye with fall colors. That has fall colors, but I like that better. Look at that beautiful little rosebud on that. These papers are gorgeous. And here's this. That one's vinyl. The first one I showed you, well, this one, here it is, has this copper color and then blue, which is a little bit surprising for a fall color or a fall journal, but I like it. I think it's, and there's blue ink right here that matches the blue, so I think it looked really good. So I'm kind of looking for a little bit of a surprise color. This one matches the paper a little too much, but there's pink in this, so if I could find a little bit of pink, maybe I could make them look good together. Let's try. And if I put pink underneath it, it'll separate it from the yellow piece. But Not too much pink. I'll just take this piece that has pink on white. Like this one is blue on white. Okay, I like that. We're going to go with that. Get all these wallpaper pieces out of my way. I need to get this bundle out more often. Look at all those treasures that are just sitting in there. Okay, so I think that's it for that page. I'll just have to ink both of these cards. One, two, three. I have 4 pages left, and one of them I don't do anything to. So I might get this done, ready to be sewn at least today. This is just a sheet of thin craft paper, and I'm not going to do this right now because I have to do some sewing. I just have this thin champagne color and this shiny sheer fabric and this piece from that little fabric pieces that I can't find. So I will have to do them, but I can do this part. I have this gorgeous, I forgot her name, the name of the designer, Anna Griffin stamp. So I'm going to stamp that. Otherwise, I haven't used any stamps in these journals. Cassie didn't do any stamping in hers, but when I had this blank brown page, I just decided I wanted to stamp. And then again, we just have a little bit of Anaglypta wallpaper up there, and I have this little bowl of numbers. Some of them came off of old packaging. These kind came off old packaging, and these other ones are part of a digital that I don't remember whose they are, but I had this pretty blue one. So let me see what I can find of interest. This one is interesting because it has red numbers. I want it to have a little color because it's on the brown. That one's green. We'll see which one looks better. I just keep that bowl handy on my desk. I think I'll use this one. still have an hour before I have to tend to other things, meaning my housework. I had to put myself on a schedule like that. I want to be done in here by 4 o'clock so I can do some housework. Otherwise, I would just be in here till dinner time and not getting my housework done. Sometimes I do that anyway, but I try. Okay, so now all I have to do is a little bit of sewing on the front of that. So the next page is this one, which is from an antique newspaper magazine, but wasn't colored at all. There was no color in it. But it was so pretty. This page was so pretty. It was needle craft or crafting work, and I think it was this daisy design with cut work. And I just thought it was so pretty. Of course, I had to reinforce it. It's very fragile. I folded this over and made a pocket. I put a card there. It's a card Scrabble game. But I put A for autumn. And then this is just a bit from one of those old book spines. And this is a page I took from that book. And this is how the leaves came down to be read to children. I thought that was perfect. So I just, and this side says the leaves. So I just folded it and tucked it in there. And on this side I added this printable guest check autumn packet, which is from Porch Swing Designs, I think. So let's see what I have here. It's not, can't be the same book page, of course. This is from a different, this one's German. Oh, so is this one. Both German. But I don't think they're from the same magazine because this one has more of a sepia color. And it's fragile again, so I'm going to start out by adding something to the center. I'll just cut a piece of scrapbook paper, 1 inch. This thing keeps coming off. And I don't, it's not big enough to make a pocket, so I can't do this pocket thing on it. I could glue a pocket to it, but I don't really want to cover it up. You could certainly add a pocket if you buy this journal and make it your own. Now let me see if one of those pockets will fit, because I think this paper is narrower than that one. What did I do with them? That set came with 4 pockets. Where did I put them? I organized everything before I got started today. Oh, they're right here. It comes with the 4 pockets and a whole bunch of ephemera to put in the pockets. You're supposed to stuff the pockets with ephemera. I will ink all of these. Little tiny envelope with a little tiny card inside. and embellish the outside of it with some of the ephemera pieces. But let me see if this will actually fit. It will not. Wait, I have to, it's not the center. I think the glue is dry now, so I can fold it. A little closer than I like. So I have an idea of something I can do. I just need to make sure that I can do it. Yep, there's room. I'm gonna glue a piece to the edges to make this page a little bit wider. And it's too fragile to sew, so we will be gluing it. What kind of paper can we use for it? Got this Edith Holden strip again. And that will help reinforce these fragile edges too. I think that will make it wide enough because it did fit on there, but just barely. Whoops. Oh, I guess I need to do that part too. And gluing this to it will give some stability to this fragile page that wants to fold around that binding piece. So these are made to, let's see, oh, this goes on top of that, I figured out. So I glue this part down first and then glue this on top. I use these pocket tag things in last year's fall journals, but I love them, so I'm using them again. feel like I want to put a pocket here. Some of these are Thanksgiving, which I'm going to include them in your pack that comes with them in case, you know, these are for fall and Thanksgiving is a part of fall, but I don't want to glue them in. You can glue them in where it suits you. That's cute. It's the part of the film envelope, the customer's receipt for when you developed pictures. I just want to make it a little bit sturdier, so I'm just going to glue it to a piece of paper. It's really fun to get out my vintage ephemera and start using it. I mean, not start using it, I do use it, but I feel like when I do a theme journal, I stick to that theme, and I really could be adding just miscellaneous vintage stuff like I'm doing in this journal. What do you think about that? This does stick off a little bit, so I'll probably trim that when the glue dries. And it's all ready for another piece of ephemera to be tucked in there. So I have more to do. I need to add ephemera to both pockets. And I don't know what else I'll do here. I think I will do something before I move on. I'll just add some apples. I don't want to cover up the word September. I guess it goes like that. I want something that goes up and down. I think this is too big. I keep pulling it out and it's always too big for what I want. Just never seems to look right. It's quite pretty. Well, I guess I'll have to think about that and come back to it. I guess I don't need to do it right now. But I do want to add something to that. That's what I want to add to it. There's an Indian corn one in here too. I guess that's what that is, but more of a red colored one. Where is it? I know I'm taking too much time for this. Here it is. More purple, actually. I like the yellow. These ephemera pieces from Eclectic Eggplant are... Oh, I almost dumped the whole thing in my garbage can. They are really coming in handy. One piece fell in my garbage can, but it was this that I cut out of a book. Oh, I keep bumping that camera. I'm going to have to stop the video soon, even though I don't have to stop crafting yet. I'm going to glue this on and then see what's left to do. Okay. Next we have just this that has nothing done to it. It's different. I'll have to add something over that tear. In this book it's just a guest check, or a guest book page. So I don't know if I might add a tab or something to it, but I'm not doing anything right now. The last page is one of these pages. Victorian Autumn. I forgot the name of the shop, but I bought these last year, and I wanted at least one page similar to this with some pictures on it. So I'm going to fold it in half and then tear it to size. And I have to tear it smaller than I would if I just measured it against the cover, because it's going to be the very inside page, and it's gotten to be quite thick, so it has to be a smaller page. So I'll just put it right inside, and I'm just going to make a mark where I want it to be. So I just marked it right there. That looks pretty straight. And then I save these strips for doing some of the embellishing you've seen me do. This is good ink that I don't want to waste. I need to measure it for height. Now I can't open it. I'll try to remember to link all the digitals that I'm using, or at least the shops. But this one is called Victorian Autumn. I know I'm running out of time here, so all I'm going to do is add a tab to the back, and I have these orange bingo, they're papers, they're not cards, and I can wrap it right around and make it a pocket on that side, and just a little bit of interest on that side. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I'm going to finish doing that, and then there may be some more details I go back and do in both books. But this might be all you see of the process. That's 2 videos in one long session, but I've done more before, and I might do more. I know I will do more after, because I have to sew them together. But I might add more details to the pages, and then we'll see what we end up with. Then of course I'm going to have to go back and finish this one, which is going to be done differently than these. But I am really enjoying making these. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing what I'm doing, and you'll come back to see the finished product. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.